Today we will discuss about few of the Docker commands which we use generally in our day-to-day daily basis. First we will launch our Docker app so we can sign in with our Docker Hub credentials. So when we first see the interface of this Docker desktop, we contain it contains like containers, images, volumes, and builds. So these are the most important uh, things which we need to know about the Docker, as it specifically mention only these four means there is some more importance of all these things in the Docker. So we will discuss each one by one. In the previous tutorials, as we have discussed, like uh, image is nothing but the package which we are going to execute our application. The container is the running instance of an image. Like image is nothing but package of application. Container is running instance of an image, and volume is where the data can be persisted. It can be considered as a disk storage. Here builds we will discuss later. So to discuss about these images, containers, and volumes, first we need to know about few of the commands of Docker. Like first we need to go to the official website of Docker, and here we can go to the docs section and go to the references. From there we can go to the CLI references and Docker. So here at present we don't have any images downloaded to our local machine, so it is showing as empty. If we want to download any image, we can directly go to hub.docker.com. Here we can search any repository, I mean the image which are stored generally in the Docker Hub. Since it is a Docker provided repositories, we will have here, like we have few other repositories like AWS also has its own registry hub, similarly like all cloud providers are having. So to download a repository, we can either use the browser or we can directly go to the Docker desktop app, and from there we can go to the Docker hub. These two are similar only. So if we want to download any instance or any repository from the Docker hub, we can search for that. Generally we may use the servers like Tomcat. So just we can click on this Tomcat and we can go down and directly we can run this, because if the this Tomcat mm, image is not available in my local repository, it will directly fetch from the remote repository. So the same thing can be searched using this Docker hub as well. If you see here, this is the official Tomcat image. If you see here, this is the first command which we will get discussed. Like to download the image from Docker Hub to our local, generally we use the Docker pull command. To know full about this command, we can go to the docs and here we can search. It will be arranged in the alphabetical order. So you can go for Docker pull command. Here it will specify how to use this command. The usage is like Docker pull, Docker image pull, or Docker pull. While coming, while downloading the particular image, generally we use the Docker pull image name and the tag version. Here tag version reference to a particular version. S- Generally for most of the images we use by default, if we don't mention any tag version, it will default consider as the latest. If you want to download a specific version of an image, we need to mention colon at the after end of this. Suppose if we download this one, what is the latest version of this Tomcat, it will get downloaded here if we don't specify the particular release version or tag version. If we want to download this particular version, we can directly specify the tag version here. Suppose I just want to use this particular 9.09, then here we can specify that particular version. Here in this case, this is nothing but equivalent to latest. Since we are not mentioning any version here, by default it will download the latest version of this particular image. So we can execute this particular command. So now we copy this command and simply we can open our terminal and we can paste it here, or otherwise we can go to Docker Hub and here we can search for particular image name and directly here we can run. If you see here, if we are not specifying the tag version, it is by default considering as the latest. Otherwise we can use whatever the particular tag version which we need, like JDK 25 remark. These all are the versions. See, if we see this latest, right, by default it will download the Tomcat 9.0. So if we directly click on run, it will download this instance and directly run the container of the particular image. See, if we just click on that, it see once we use the Docker pull that image name, by default it is showing using the default tag latest. Since it is not available in our images, so see now it is downloaded, right? Since it is downloaded, we have this two tag versions. Why we got two tag versions are nothing but this latest refers to this 9.0. See again, if we run the Docker pull Tomcat, what will happen is, since we have already have the image, it won't download, it will just uh, shows us the this SHA-256 digest value. Image is up to date for the Tomcat latest. Okay, now how to check the images? From this CLI, we can use the command called docker image. If you see here, docker image. If you have any specific doubt regarding this, just you can type docker image. It will show the usages of the particular command. Since we need to show the list of images, just we can use this ls command. So here we can use docker image ls. Since we are having like two downloaded images, it is showing two of them. So how do we run this particular image? For this, directly we can go to hub.docker.com. Here in the references overview, you can go down, and here they will show us like how to run this. We can directly use this one. See, to run this, we generally use the command called docker run. What is this minus id? Id here refers to the interactive mode with the tag version. Here, if we don't use this 9.0, it will by default consider as the Tomcat colon latest. So, how to verify this? At present, we don't have any running containers. So, once we execute this, now we have the running instance of a container. Running instance of image is nothing but the container. So, here, if you see this name, it is showing a random name. So, how do we modify this name? For this, we can go to the official website here, and here we have docker image. Sorry, since we are running this, we need to go for the docker run command. Here we can use the usage like docker container run. At present, we don't have any running instance. Okay, already we are having the running instance in interactive mode. So we will open a new shell, docker. So to check the running instance of a container, just we can use docker container. So it will show us the usage, how to use. At present, we want to show the list of containers. Containers means nothing but the running instance of an image. Docker container ls. So it will show at present we have one container id. So once we have this container id, we can either run this same container id again, or we can uh, launch a new container as well from the existing image. Like once we have a particular image, we can run a multiple containers with the same particular image name. So how do we do that? First we will kill the existing, control C, we will destroy the existing running container. So now if you see, we don't have any running containers. If you want to see all the containers which are, we don't have any particular running container. To check all the containers which are available, we can use the command called docker ps. It will show the all the running instances of a container. To show all running or stopped containers, we can use docker ps minus a. At present we don't have anything. So so how now we will check how to run a multiple containers. So we can use docker run tomcat. If we don't want to interact with the particular uh, terminal, we can use -d. It is in a detached mode of a tomcat. If we see here, again a new content, now if we see this name is different, so now we will discuss docker ps. So already one container is running from our docker, right? To check the logs we can use from here, go to view details, and here we can go to the logs. Otherwise we can use the command called docker log 54 ef. We can specify like two, 3 characters of an container id. Docker, yeah. If you see here, docker logs hyphen l we can use. Okay, docker container logs. Here we need to specify the container id, which is nothing but 54ef. Yeah, now we can verify these logs of particular container. So if we see here, docker container ls, we will have the running instance of an image. So how do we stop the particular container? We can use the command called docker container stop that command, that particular 54 enter. Yeah, if we see here, now we don't have any running containers. So how do we specify a name to a particular container? So we can use the particular command, previous command, tomcat, and here we can specify the name of the instance, my tomcat 1. So now the name of the container will be my tomcat 1. Yeah, docker container ls. Yeah, if you see here, the name of our container is we can my tomcat 1. You can run a new tomcat container with a name 2. If you see here, now you will have another container with my tomcat 2, docker container ls. Yeah, these are the two different instances which we are running, like two different tomcat. So if you go to this docker desktop app, here we have like 1 and 2. This both will be different for two instances. For the logs also we can check for them. So another one more thing which we need to discuss is how do we stop or remove this container. Docker container remove only this second container I want to remove now, 71ca. So once if we stop, then only it can get removed. How do we do that? Like docker content. Okay, one more command which we can discuss is docker ps. There is no difference between the docker ps and docker container ls. Like can be used like one command can be used in another format as well. So now we will stop the second container. You can always refer to this particular docker container start, docker container stop, all these particular docker commands, and you can try. We can use docker stop and our container id as well. We can use name as well, since the name is also unique. You can use stop my tomcat hyphen 2. Yeah, now it is stopped. Now if we see docker ps, we have only one instance. Docker, instead of specifying the container here, we can directly use docker stop my tomcat 1, or otherwise we can directly use this container id. Both are fine. Yes, since we mentioned two dockers, it is showing an error. Yeah, now if we see docker ps, we don't have any running instances of a particular docker image. At present we have seen like different commands like docker run, like docker run, container run, and docker container start, docker container stop, uh, docker container remove. What is the use of this docker container prune? It will remove all the stopped instances. Like if you want to see, now I will run tomcat 1. I'm running this. Okay, if you have this container, you are having one running instance. Now I'll just stop. Since we did not remove, we can find this in the docker ps. Okay, to view the all the stopped instances as well, you can use docker ps minus a. It will list all the process of the container. Since it is stopped, we can remove it using the docker container remove this docker container id. I'm just specifying this, or otherwise we can use docker container prune. Now it will just ask the confirmation. If we click on yes, yeah, now it is removed. If you check here, docker container, otherwise docker ps hyphen a, now the containers are empty. These are the basic commands. Later we will discuss about few more other commands in the next tutorial. Thank you.